Hey, what's up everybody? It's BCawk from the Leaguecast, and today I'm going to be doing a very late but very necessary first impression of a champion that came out about a week ago now. Oh my god, I'm so sorry if I'm going to be sniffing throughout this whole thing, I'm sick. But a champion that came out about a week ago now, and her name is Ahri, and she is the nine-tailed fox. What she is, she's kind of supposed to be a burst caster that was presented to be like a champion that needs to get in close to do damage, kind of like LeBlanc, except for with more risk factor, where if you don't get in close, you're not going to do your max damage, and if you kind of stay far away and try to play it safe, you're going to not help your team that much. So, I'm going to kind of summarize her abilities and stuff now, and if you guys already know what they're all about, I'll put a little button on the video and say you can skip here to where I just give my impression about her. But for now, I'm going to talk about all her different abilities. Ahri's passive is called Essence Theft, and what it does, it's kind of a dulled down Morgana passive, and by that I mean she has passive spell vamp. However, unlike Morgana's passive, she doesn't have passive spell vamp all the time. Since Ahri has moves that can hit someone multiple times, every time she either hits a minion or a champion, she gets a charge, up to 3 charges per move that she does. And when she gets 9 charges, then her next ability will do 35% spell vamp, which isn't terrible, but it's not that good early game, considering that it's not going to help you sustain by itself just alone. And the fact that Morgana gets a passive that does that all the time kind of dulls it down. But Ahri is very good with spell vamp because she has spells that hit multiple times. So it's pretty decent on her. It's not the worst, but it's not the best passive. Her Q is called Orb of Deception. And what it is, I'm going to relate it to a kind of Sivir's move, but with shorter range. She's a Sivir's Q, that is. And it's pretty good because the first time it hits them, it does a set amount of damage with an AP ratio. It's only 0.32 for the first time, but then it comes back to you, and when it comes back, it does true damage. And that is also off a 0.32 ratio, so whatever it does the first time will be mitigated by magic resistance, but when it comes back, it'll do true damage. And that's pretty cool, but I've heard that there's some problems with this where it looks like it's doing more damage the first time and less the second time, which doesn't make any sense because there should be mitigation. Unless when you're attacking them the first time, then you have the mastery on that gives you more, it ups your ability power, or it ups your magic damage, or the magic pen or whatever, so that could be what it is. But anyway, I'm babbling about that now. Her next ability is called Foxfire, and what it is, it's just that you press it and there's 3 little Foxfires that go around you. And it prioritizes champions over minions. But what it does, it hits someone one time, and every time it hits that person again, the damage is 50% less. But although that sounds shitty, it has a 0.75 ratio altogether if it hits the same person every time, which is pretty fucking good. And it's not really what you're expecting because it only has a 5-second cooldown, and I feel like it's a really good burst spell. So I wouldn't max it first because it's not. I don't find it consistent because you can't aim it. But I would definitely max it at least second. And her E is called Charm, which is her only form of CC. So what it does is a skill shot. I wouldn't really call it a nuke because there's a 0.35 ability power ratio, but it's a skill shot. And if you hit them with it, then they start walking towards you. And I believe at level 1 it's 1 second, and at level 5 it's all the way up to 2 seconds. Yeah, it goes up 0.25 seconds every level you level it. I actually level this one, or max this one last, because it doesn't do enough damage in my opinion. If you're going to level a burst caster, you want to level the burst first. But it's actually a really good form of CC, as in it's a ranged taunt. And 2 seconds is a really long time. 2 seconds is the time that Brand stuns last, and that's a skill shot with like, that's a skill shot with, I don't know how to explain this. That's a skill shot with like other things you have to do. You have to ignite them and then you have to hit Q. With this one you just have to hit her E and then 2 seconds of CC at max level, which is pretty good. And now what makes Ahri Ahri is her ultimate. It's called Spirit Rush. And if I could explain this in any way that's easy, it would be it's a mini flash that you can once you activate it once, that's the max mana cost. And then after you activate it 1 time, you can flash 3 times. And if you're near someone, it prioritizes champions again. If you're near someone, then when you dash towards them, little beams will come off you and hit that person. And you can dash 3 times. So it's good for escapes, it's good for initiations, and what it really is useful for is kind of catching people by surprise. What I hate to see in lanes is what Ahri's do to me all the time when I lane against them, is that they're being all like, they're being passive, they're being really passive, you know what I mean? They hit level 6, they're still passive, then all of a sudden they use Spear Rush, they come on to me really fast, and then all of a sudden there's a jungler that comes out of nowhere, and you're like, oh shit, like, because they don't even have to act, they don't have to act any different, because they can get in there no matter what, they can gap close so well. It's kind of like, it's a different version of Akali's passive, except for it's a skill shot instead of actually clickable, and it doesn't have any charges, but it's really good in the way that it can, you can use it to kite, you can use it to initiate. You don't want to though, because you have to get in pretty close for it to actually hit somebody. And it's just great for escapes and fighting altogether, because at the end it has a 0.3 ratio per time that you dash, you know what I mean? But if you add all those together, that adds up to a 0.9 ratio on our ultimate, which is pretty fucking strong. Alright, now if you left this in the way beginning, this is where you'll be joining everyone if you didn't want to listen to her moves and just want to listen to my opinion on her. So, Ahri, once again, is another 6300 champion. I think everyone expects this from now on. I'm starting to hate it. I hate the trend, but it's a great business model for them, so I'm not going to complain, because why wouldn't you charge the most for the newest thing? It makes sense if you think about it in a business point of view. But is she worth the money? I would say if you are if you are an Ahri player, then you're gonna think she's worth the money. By that, I mean if you like people that can get in, like, excuse me, can get in, do a bunch of damage, and then get out. If you're a burst player, if you like mages, if you kind of like, if you like LeBlanc, she's definitely be one for you in the way that she can like trick people in where she's going and kind of play safe, and then all of a sudden do crazy amount of burst damage. I don't think per se she's worth 6,300, because although she is very well done, she's very well thought out. I believe that some of her moves are rehashed. Like her Q is basically Sivir's Q, and yeah. But I like her because I love playing burst mages, and I love playing people that can be elusive. She's really fun, but I don't think she's the best choice for ranked, because I feel like towards the end of the game, how I build her is in the beginning. A lot of people have been building Rylai's, or they've been building Spell Vamp in the way beginning. But I feel like she doesn't do enough damage early game. And that might be because the way I level her, because I max Q first. But I go straight for Hat when I play her, because she has such great kiting ability that if you know how to play her well, you don't even have to be in a battle. You can kind of be on the sides, you can charm someone, you can do your full combo with them, you can go in there, use your ult, and hit up to 3 people for a 0.9 ratio. It's pretty good. But I feel like early game she suffers. Once she hits level 6, that's when she hits her prime, kind of like other assassins and other AP carries like Vigor or Akali hit their prime at level 6. But I think that there are just better options than her when it comes to ranked, and I feel like that she is less consistent with all of her skill shots than other casters that are more consistent can be. But if you are someone who likes burst mages, if you're someone who likes the play style of like Akali, I wouldn't even say Akali. If you like someone who likes the play style of like LeBlanc, where you can like play safe and then surprise someone really fast and do a crap load of damage, this is the kind of champion for you. But if you're someone who wants constant damage, who wants someone who's tanky, who wants someone that can stay in the battle and fight and CC a bunch of people and kind of be like the reason that you win a team fight, like through like CC and through making them focus like different people, then Ahri is not really the champion for you. The only thing you can really do with Ahri is kite away. You can do a shitload of damage on one person or a few people, but up to 3 people, but not as much damage as say Katarina would do to 3 people. She's not, because she has that form of CC, she doesn't do as much damage as Katarina would. But she's still a viable option, I think, but there's just people that are more viable than her. So I hope you guys enjoyed this first impression, the first one for a long time. I'm BCawk from the Leaguecast. If you like this, please subscribe. There'll be more coming up soon. I promise you guys, I have some time now, so I'll actually be making some more videos. Comment below if you think I'm wrong, if you think that there's a better build for her, if you think that she is one of the most viable people right now. You can go ahead and tell me. I love being told that I'm wrong, and hopefully I can argue with you guys a little bit, yeah? And yeah, so this is BCawk from the Leaguecast, and I'm signing out. I'll see you guys soon.